All right, welcome back. This is week 65 of the preparation. And if you don't know, the preparation is a program meant to be an alternative to college, the military, and a dead-end job. And it's meant to be a program primarily for young men to gain as many skills as possible, have as many interesting experiences as possible, make money, and meet interesting people within 4 years' time. But really, it could be any amount of time you want because the program is adaptable to your specific situation and your specific interests. But I've been doing this program for 65 weeks now. I have been the beta tester, the guinea pig for it. And a lot has happened over time. And I was just looking back through some of my old Substack posts the other day. And time goes slow in the moment. But now that I'm at 65 weeks, and I look back through these posts and I see all the different things I've done. I started posting the weekly updates when I came back from Boise, Idaho, back here to Uruguay, and started working on the ranch and doing things here. But before then, I was working at Office Depot and a pizza place and going through EMT school, and I completed a Wrangler school in Wyoming. Did a lot of things, and then, moving on to working here on the ranch, writing the Substack posts, doing quite a number of things, really. Learning how to do things here in the ranch, and then transitioning over to the EMT stuff, actually using it on wildland fires this past summer. And it's crazy to witness the passage of time and how much you can do within just a single year if you really try. But this week, I'd say I got a fair amount done. I was on the Sean Newman podcast at the beginning of last week. I believe it was last week or the week before, I can't really remember. But the podcast itself was published this past Monday. So if you want to check that out, just go to Sean Newman's Spotify or Apple Podcasts, I think is what it is, and you can find my episode there. I just talk about the preparation, answer some questions he has about it, and I think it went well. So I did that, and then this week I was finally able to close a loop that I opened earlier this past summer. Summer in the States. It's summer here now, but summer in the States. And that was starting the process to becoming an open water certified scuba diver, which, if you don't know, becoming open water certified is the first major certification you can get as a scuba diver. So, started off with doing an online course, which I don't know why everything has to be online now, because it's very difficult to pay attention to anything when it's online. But I completed my closed water dive in a pool where I freaked out when I had to take my goggles off for one of the dive exercises, just because the feeling of water hitting your face, especially around your eyes and nose while you're breathing out of your mouth underwater, it just created a total fear response in me, and I shot up to the surface because I was so freaked out. So I did that, and then I completed 3 open water dives in Texas, in some murky waters in a Texas lake. I think the maximum depth we went down to was 32 feet, around 33 feet. And we had to navigate with the compass at one point to find a platform sitting in the middle of this murky lake, which was very eerie. There was also a giant shark statue, sculpture down there, which was also a little creepy. So that was interesting. and then finally completing my 4th dive here in Uruguay, specifically in Punta del Este, which is one of the major cities here. The water was very cold, definitely a lot colder than you think it would be for a beach town, because usually when you think of a beach town, at least when I do, I think of Miami, just warm water. But no, it's cold here. It's cold here, so a wetsuit was definitely necessary, whereas in Texas I didn't need to wear a wetsuit. But it was a very interesting way to end that. I don't have my certification yet, just because the instructor here, the PADI instructor, needs to send in the confirmation of my completion of the final dive, and then I should get my certification. But all of the major work is done. The 4 open water dives, the closed water dive, it's all done. So I'm happy to have it over with. I think I started the whole process in June. So from June to November, that's not bad. I did that. Then with a few things on the ranch this week, we haven't had too much because just we're making the slow transition from spring into summer, and there usually isn't too much to do in the springtime, especially because it doesn't get cold here. So when you think about ranches or farms in North America, usually that transition period is filled with a lot more work, because you have to, well, first off, you have to prep for winter, and then you have all the winter maintenance, and then you have to prep for spring and summer at the end of winter as well. But because it doesn't get that cold here, we don't need to put as much work into doing things over the winter and before and after it. So really the 2 major things this week was continuing to build the chicken tractor, which is a mobile chicken enclosure that I'm trying to build, which can house probably around 50 to 60 chickens in it. And it's meant to fertilize the ground, allow the chickens to eat off the pasture, and allow the chickens to eat the fly larvae, which helps reduce parasites. So that's a good thing. But trying to build that, and then we also planted some fruit trees this past winter, and so we bought some old tires, cut them out, and then placed them around the small fruit trees, just because the fruit trees are planted on a slope, so there's a lot of water runoff, and you can put hay around the base of the trees to maintain a little bit of that moisture. But adding the tires around the trees will definitely help with the water runoff, and help the trees maintain even more water, which will help them grow. So that's another good thing. And that was pretty much it for ranch farm work this week. But there will be a whole lot more in the future when we have to work with the animals. We'll have to do artificial insemination, vaccinations, put ear tags on the calves, and we'll also have to do quite a bit of mowing of the fields, just because as soon as summer comes around here, there's tons of like woody brush that springs up, as well as lots of thistles that need to be chopped down. So lots of mowing this summer. But what else? I did the usual 3 things of lifting weights this past week, Spanish practice with the tutor, and chess practice, 30 minutes of chess every day. And I did get the opportunity to talk with one of my friends who is an excellent chess player, and he went through some of my games, my past games that I played, and analyzed them with me. And apparently I'm doing a little better than I was before, so making progress on that front, which is good to hear, good to know. What else? I've done a fair amount more reading, read a decent amount of articles this week as well, So if you want to know what I'm reading, if you're interested for any reason, whether that be that you're interested in the books I'm reading or the articles I'm reading, then I'd recommend you check out my Substack page, which will be in the description. But yeah, that was week 65. Oh, the one other thing is that I took a ride on my horse, Comanche, up to the cliffs on our property just to get him some exercise, because he got chubby while I was gone. Since the last time I was here was in April, he hasn't got much exercise and just has been eating the entire time. So took him up there to get him some more exercise, and I'll be doing that more often to make sure he stays in better shape. So that was week 65. We'll see what happens this next week. I'm sure it'll be interesting, but we shall see. We shall see. Hope you have a good day, and I'll see you next time.